everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 345 on the 22nd of June 2014. My name is Stephen Layton. Welcome to In My Mug and welcome to the news. So yeah, the news. I was meant to record this in Gothenburg at the SCAA World of Coffee event. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot. Got sidetracked by all the shiny things that were going on and parties and didn't get to record it. So I'm recording it here on the train. Why am I recording this on the train? Because I'm going to Liverpool. There's a beer festival on that has been... So I got back from Gothenburg last night at like midnight and I'm on a train at 9:20. So that's why it's... yeah, I'm an idiot. Tanzanians are arriving. They are going to be with us next week sometime. Expect them in the next week to 10 days coming on the site and expect to see one in my mug sometime soon. And also El Salvador container. I know I've been talking about this coming for ages and ages, but it is being delivered today, Monday. So hopefully we'll have those very, very soon. And that was the news. So this week's coffee is from Nicaragua, and I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you because I'm incredibly lazy. So last year when I was there, Eliane and her dad, Dr. Maresh, who I want him as my dad. I would quite happily swap my very poor dad for that man any day. He's a great, great man. Told me a little bit about the farm. Now, unfortunately, I filmed it in front of a waterfall. There are 9 waterfalls on the farm, and the sound is absolutely goddamn awful. But luckily, there are subtitles. So, yeah, let's go and let Eliane tell us all about the farm.
Welcome to In My Mug, and welcome to Finca Limoncillo. Welcome to my guest. We have Dr. Maresh, who is the real coffee farmer from the Limoncillo, who actually is the guy who owns the farm. That guy Erwin, who came in last time, I don't think he's a real farmer.
Well, I am a real farmer.
You are a real farmer. He was a fraud. He was pretending that he owned the farm and it was all his. And
no, as a matter of fact, I am a gynecologist, and now I'm delivering
coffee babies.
Yeah, no more babies, but we are delivering a good cup of coffee.
For sure, for sure. And this is Alani. Alani is Dr. Maresh's daughter and Erwin's sister, who like manages a mill like nobody else I've seen. Like the mill is like a military kind of precision kind of thing that goes on. So Alani, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you've managed to make this mill into this kind of such a tight...
Oh, like Steven said, I'm the manager of the dry mill, and we've done a lot of experiments. I think we tried a funky Pacamara.
Yes.
This year we have our Java funky,
which I cooked yesterday, by the way, and blew my mind at how good it was and how different it was as well. So the coffee that we're talking about today as well is going to be the funky, so the funky Pacamara. So tell me a little bit about how the funky Pacamara happened and why it got its name funky.
Well, the funky name comes from Steven. He caught it, and we found actually the funky and the funky earth. And we got it by using the cherry stayed more in water.
Okay.
Then when you discovered it,
we were concerned.
We were concerned that it was actually
over-fermented, kind of defected almost, and it is on the edge of that. I think it's so fruity and so complex that for some people they taste it and go, and it's a real shock. But I just think it's such a different coffee.
And since you requested, we tried to use it and we actually
spray
water on it as it's on the dry mill. As you're drying, you need a thick layer of curd, and you try to move it less. Try to pour it with nice firmness. Yeah. Always being careful that you don't go over.
And that's the thing here on the farms and on the mills. I think always experimenting with different things and trying different things. What is it that drives you to kind of do those experiments, Doctor? What's your motivation for planting unique varietals and planting and doing these different processes?
Well, with my background of precision, I like to make change.
Yeah.
So we have a small lab where we have a reproduction by tissue, and as Liam said, sometimes we find something by accident, and then we try to improve it by observation, copying, and curiosity. So the scientific portion of precision applies to the coffee.
And I think this is why I love working with this farm so much, is it's that experimentation all the time, the questions constantly asked and not knowing all of the answers. It's something that's rare in coffee, because I have the best cup of coffee, I don't need to do anything else. And I think you guys do have one of the best coffees, but you actually want to make it better, which is fantastic.
It's precisely that. I mean, we're continuously learning and experimenting. These are African beds.
Yes. And I'm going to show you a picture on the screen now of the new African beds and the new greenhouse. And it's 2 years since I've visited the mill and the farms. And in 2 years, it's such a big change. It's been amazing to see that real development. Much more than when I've come every year, it's incremental, small changes. But 2 years, it's made such a big change, and it's great to see. So, tell us a little bit about the farm. So, how long has the farm been in the family for?
More or less about 30 years.
Okay.
30 years, it was wild.
Right.
We started improving it, and this is the farm that we have found the most exotic variety, like the Java. It's something that everybody knows, but we have identified the Javanica and the Havakatu, the same family, but the production of the Havakatu is higher, the yield is higher.
Yellow Pacamara?
But
oh, the yellow Pacamara. Oh dear. We cupped the yellow Pacamara yesterday, and I literally picked up the cupping bowl at the end and took it and drank it. It's just phenomenal. Like, and that was found on the farm here. And just amazing, like, unique varietals. What altitude are we at here in the farm? What?
The altitude, 900 to 1,000.
Okay, so 1,000 to, which for Nicaragua is actually relatively high, isn't it? You know, Nicaragua, the most you tend to find is around about 13, 14 coffee production. And that's because it gets quite cold and wet here as well, doesn't it? As we can see, this isn't just waterfall spray around us, it's like being in Stafford. Like, the weather was raining as we came up, I was like, I don't come to Central America for rain. And how big is the farm?
230 manzanas.
Which is around about 170 hectares, something like that, is that right? So, it's huge! It's like, I've just come from El Salvador, where, you know, it's like 20 manzanas, and then you come somewhere like this and it's so big.
You see, something that is very nice here is that it's well defined, different plateaus, different levels of the farm. We have varieties that are good for 950 meters, we have for 1,000 meters, then we have a variety that are well done 1,200 meters.
And this is the thing that comes from the experimentation, is you find out what varietals work at those different altitudes. So I want to talk a little bit about the social aspect of it, because on the farm in Nicaragua, it's very typical for people who work here to live on the farm, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you guys have done something a little bit special with the people who do live on here. So what if I come to work on Limoncillo, what can I get? What can I expect?
Okay. We know that the guys that come to work, they are really the ones that get the crop, and we have to give them back something. We provide, for instance, families that cannot live with his kids in the city, they bring the kids and we provide them a place where to keep the kids. We provide we feed the kids, and we have teachers that are with the kids during the labor day, the labor hours. The kids are well cared.
So there's a school here, and if the children live on the farm as well, they'll go to that school.
Right.
And daycare, a school, health clinic, country store,
the grocery store, and you can see it's not a store close to the farm.
Yeah.
We provide the same price that is in the city.
Okay. And say if I get sick, can I get some help with healthcare or?
We also have the hydro and electric. The electricity will be the hydro. So everybody gets electricity.
All coming from these waterfalls, 7 within the farm, so like the power, which is very unusual for a farm to find running water and electricity too, isn't it?
Right.
We see these as basics back home, but here this is something that's not normal and it's fantastic to see. So I guess it's time to kind of wrap this one up and go to the map bit, but before I do, thank you very, very much for coming on camera. Thank you very much for these amazing coffees. Limoncillo is a farm that is very special to me. I remember buying the Cup of Excellence lot back in 2007, and ever since this farm has had a hold of me, not just in my palate but also in my heart. So it's a fantastic coffee, and it's great to be here and great that you come on camera, so thank you everybody very, very much. So it's time for the map bit. Awesome, thank you. This week's wonderful map bit, where we've got a little bit of extra information because we're going to be using Limoncillo a few times, I think, so thought we'd make this one a little bit more in depth. We're going across the Atlantic and we're going to the wonderful country of Nicaragua. You see just above it you've got Honduras, above there Guatemala, just below it Costa Rica and Panama. And let's get down into Nicaragua. You see Managua there on the star, that's the capital city. And here's our little silly fact about Nicaragua. There are no street names in Nicaragua address system. Addresses are given by using reference points or landmarks. So quite difficult to send a letter, I guess. Let's get down to the farm, and all of what you can see there is the farm. There is a lot of tree coverage there though. Highest point of Nicaragua is the Mogoton Mountain at 2,438 metres above sea level, and the lowest point, of course, is the Pacific Ocean, which is at 0 because it's sea level. Duh. Right, so the land area of Nicaragua, it's very kind of quite big country for Central America, 120 square kilometres, 120,000 square kilometres even, 120 square kilometres won't be very big. And the land use, a lot of it is used for crops and for cattle, so you've got arable 15%, permanent crops 1.94%, and other 82%, which is stuff like cities, forests, all sorts of wonderful things like that. So this is at the top of the mountain looking down the valley. Where the pinpoint is actually the farm buildings. Let's see if we can kind of get into those farm buildings, and let's just highlight those as well. So let's put a little line around them. So that's the main farm buildings. Just to the right of that, you've actually got the waterfall, one of 7 waterfalls on the farm, but the tree coverage just means you can't actually see them. And that was the slightly longer but slightly more interesting map bit.
So, it should be time for Roland's daft fact now, but Chris refuses to stand in for Roland and cover his daft fact. So, it's going to be Steve's daft facts. Nicaragua is the second poorest economy in the Northern Hemisphere, but is one of the safest places to visit in Central America. I don't know why the two are linked, but it's true. See, Chris could have really easily said that. Really easy. So now it's time to whap you on pause. I already have the drink made. I brought it in my flask, my Rico flask from Gothenburg, from the symposium. Now, I didn't go to the symposium, but I managed to steal a flask. So I'll whap you on pause while I pour it into a cup, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. That pouring was very, very, very hard. So here we have a paper cup this week, no mug, just a paper cup. So I brewed this around about an hour ago. I wouldn't really want to be leaving it much longer than that. If you're taking flasks are good at keeping stuff warm, but they're not good at keeping stuff tasty, so you do need to drink it fairly quickly. So, first thing I notice about this coffee is that the acidity on the front end. It's really kind of sharp and bright. Now for a pulp natural, that's kind of unusual. You tend to find the pulp natural's a bit more sweeter, a bit more balanced. This has got a really kind of zingy acidity to it, and I liken it to a cloudy lemonade. So it really has that kind of. But then, where the pulp natural part kicks in is in the aftertaste. So it turns into this like creamy, smooth, very sweet banana, and like mashed up banana as well. Not like kind of fresh. It's got a bit squidgy in the fruit bowl. It's got a really lovely texture, and it is all about the texture with this. I know this is an espresso, it's amazing, but I think as a brewed as well, it's pretty stonking. And here, this is definitely the best coffee on a train at the moment somewhere. It really is just all about that mouthfeel. It's absolutely stunning. This is expensive, so for all subscribers out there, Chris, how much is it? £12.50, and you pay £6.50 a week if you're a direct debit subscriber, and if you're by the year one, you get it even cheaper. And that's not with shipping as well, so it's a bargain. But I wanted to share it with you. I don't mind taking hits on some of these delicious coffees just when they are just so special to share with you. And this was on the brew bar all week in Gothenburg, with the lots of other coffees, and the feedback was phenomenal from it. People are absolutely loving it. Right, so I am going to go and drink lots of beer in Liverpool now, if that's okay with you, and make myself look even worse than I already do, because I partied too hard while in Gothenburg as well. It's all about the parties this week. Life is definitely too short for bad parties, but it's also too short for bad coffee.